Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Meister Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Warramai First Nations people and absolute welcome to you, your spirit guides, and my spirit guides here today. First of all, sorry for the volume glitch yesterday. I do have a bit of idea. Some friends who are into astrology have mentioned that there's half a dozen planets in retrograde. There's also solar flares occurring. So I've had issues with my computer, my phone, my car, the microphone yesterday. Everything has resolved itself without any professional input, but it just seems to be the moment. Today is our spring solstice in the southern hemisphere, and I gather it's the autumn or fall solstice in the northern hemisphere. So there's a lot of energies whizzing around. I also had an experience the other day which was quite energy draining for me. And it just goes to show as well, this is about my 6th or 7th attempt at starting this video because I find I am blathering on, so I shall try not to do so in this particular recording. What I want to have a look at, so what happens if, for those that are new, anything that comes to my attention that is really sharply in focus for me, I note down in my notepad. Because Meister and or Noreen are telling me that it is something that they want me to read on. Going from the top, but in no particular order, I have the Uganda Ebola outbreak. They are exceptionally well trained in dealing with this in Uganda. A lot of expertise, however, it is a new strain. So I'm just going to, if I get a chance today, I'll have a look at that. If not, I shall leave it over till Monday. Ginny Thomas has agreed to be interviewed by the January 6th committee, not that she had any choice. The COVID funding fraud charges, $250 million, $250 million. The migrants suing DeSantis. Really today want to have a look at the Iranian protests. Brought about by a young woman who refused to wear the headdress in public, was arrested by the morality police and died in custody after being beaten. But first of all, I want to have a look at the Disclosure Act being brought to the US Congress by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Now, I sort of looked when I say Congress because we call our upper house the Senate, you call your lower house the Senate, so it does throw me a little bit when I'm just converting it. So I'm going to have a look at that first. I'm just going to see how it goes. Will it pass? What cards do you want me to use today? Thank you. Yes. Have a look at this Disclosure Act. It's quite interesting as an outsider to look into this because in Australia we actually have an independent electoral commission that oversees funding. They actually, as part of our constitution, it is written in legislation of how the boundary lines of areas of seats are drawn up, so that's not up to the government of the day. Our Independent Electoral Commission is not put in by the government of the day. They are highly expertise people who have a permanent position in our Electoral Commission, completely independent from party. And they oversee things like the boundaries, the election process, the donation process, etc. We have very strict donation laws, and I think that anything over $1,000 donated by a corporation, or $100, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it is a fairly low amount, by an individual, needs to be disclosed. And we have had state premiers, I think they're governors in the US, as an example, have lost their positions in Parliament. They have literally lost their seat over an expensive bottle of wine. So we have very strict regulations, which mean it's fully, we do have lobbying and stuff like that, but it is fully disclosed for anyone that wants to go and have a look. And it would be interesting in the US to find out who's behind such things as the Federalist Society, who put 50 million or something into the SCOTUS nominations, and who's behind the donations going into the political campaigns from just to see how politicians are being influenced. What's popped out at me is the Eight of Pentacles, which is about a lot of work going on behind the scenes. I think this is the bill itself, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and it is about the money. It's a bill being brought forward, been worked on really hard, and specifically being brought forward about the money itself. So tell me about the Disclosure Act being brought by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Boy, he's working hard behind the scenes. He's really doing a lot of good work. And then what's popped out is the Sun. This is the Disclosure Act. So we'll keep shuffling, because the Disclosure Act and justice has leapt out at me as well. Actions and consequences. A rebalancing, and the harsh truth on the bottom there. So this is very much about bringing back justice and fairness and balance and accountability to government in the US. Okay, so tell me about this. Cards are popping out at me everywhere while I shuffle this, and they are great cards. I've had temperance, a moderation, a rebalancing, a coming back to stability. Everything about this bill. So all these cards are popping out about this bill. And so this is telling me about the bill itself. So the bill is about accountability, rebalancing, justice, fairness, moderation. That's what this bill is about. It's just bringing stability back and accountability. Okay, tell me about the passage of the Disclosure Bill through the US Upper House, the US Federal Upper House, Congress. Tell me about the passage of the Disclosure Bill through Congress, the Disclosure Act. Tell me about, needs 60 votes. Okay. The cards did not want to be shuffled anymore, so let us have a look. The lawmakers, King of Wands. So this is the Congress itself, the lawmakers. It has been brought forward. They are sitting on this, making a decision. They are looking at this bill really carefully, sitting between the pillars of wisdom on this throne, with the power of the mountains behind. Looks like he's got his feet in the water, actually. Crossed by the Biden administration. Diplomacy, calm, cool, collected. Just calm emotion. So this is looking quite positive, but 2 kings as well. So this is a very powerful decision coming forward. 3 kings, King of Pentacles. This is about protection and security, and the money being accountable, prosperity. 3 kings. Wow. Very powerful, that. Okay, in the past, full illumination. This is the bill. It's passed, or the act, it has passed the House. It needs 60 in the Congress to get through. But I'm loving all these kings. There's going to be a lot of debate in regards to this. Thank you, Master. There is going to be debate. But I love these kings. Okay, crowning, the Ace of Wands. New beginning, new plan, new information coming forward. Yeah, okay, this is great. Going forward, 9 of Pentacles. This is about independence. independence from the need for money. So how I'm seeing this is also gilded cage, so it's sort of a double-edged sword, whatever. Sword wanted to come out. It's about truth as well. But this is the immediate future. So it is a struggle between independence from money, but also being entrapped by money. Because there are certain politicians that are making a bloody good living out of the kickbacks. I'll call it the bribes, but they're donations, disguised as donations. I did see, as a bit of a tangent, I did see something mentioned that there used to be in the US a full disclosure law, and donations such as what goes on now were once upon a time considered bribes, and then the legislation was changed to make them donations, so they became legal. So what I'm seeing here is there are some that are trapped by the money, and there are some that are seeking independence from the money. So let's keep going with this and see what outcome we get. Externally, yeah, the financial cards currently are being played very close to the chest. So there is not this accountability. There is not this disclosure of who's being bought by whom. And there is this insecurity about releasing the information, because there are some politicians that will find themselves thank you, Master, will find themselves in a very uncomfortable situation if it is disclosed. Internally, this is the act being brought forward. Introspection, investigation, just a light shining in the dark, exposing these obstacles in the path. And the obstacles in the path are the money. The obstacles for the US progressing in a lot of ways and moving forward is the background funding of some of its major politicians. As I said, as I was thinking, you only had to look at you only have to look at the politicians voting against their best interests of the people that they supposedly represent. Came out that Ted Cruz voted against a major highway being built as part of the infrastructure from Texas through Dakota all the way up to Canada. So it links Texas directly to Canada, which can only be good for the people of Texas. But Ted Cruz, the representative, voted against it. So this is about illuminating this snake in the grass. Well, he's not in the grass here because he can't hide when he's being illuminated. So I think there's a lot of politicians at the moment. Well, not a lot. Okay, thank you. Thank you for correcting me. It's not a lot. There are a certain element of politicians, representatives, that are very uncomfortable about it being exposed because because of the money they've been receiving that has not been disclosed, is not transparent, is causing them to be this snake in the path, an obstacle to the people they represent. Okay, hopes and fears that this act will pack all the truth, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the accountability, the exposure, etc., packing it up in the boat and moving it forward to calmer waters where it will be in the sunlight. Okay, right. Loss and disappointment is one of the outcome. Again, you've got the lawmakers here, but this is an inspirational figure coming forward. But it is feminine energy. So it's not as powerful as this masculine energy here of the lawmakers, but she is inspirational, but she only has one pillar of wisdom behind her, whereas this King of Wands had the two. Okay, see where it goes. Dark money behind the scenes. mercenary action, lies, deceit, betrayal, stealing of the truth. Oh dear, okay, I'm not liking the outcome of this bill, of this act going through. And then we have the moon card, which is the seedy underbelly coming to the surface and exposing itself, as you have these politicians who are basically juggling their money, basically accepting money behind the scenes. They're just, I don't know whether that needs any explanation. You guys know what that card means. It's not a particularly good card. Okay, oh well, that was disappointing after the cards looking so good. I will just ask Pendulum to just clarify on that. Right. I'm just disappointed in that outcome, actually. It's very possible that the bill may not get through. Sorry, I like to have the pendulum at a length where you can see both my finger and the pendulum itself. Okay, Meister, may I ask a question, please? Meister and Narine, may I ask a question, please? So the circling is a yes, that I may ask the question. Will this Disclosure Act, if it's brought before Congress this week, will this Disclosure Act pass? It needs 60 votes. Will this Disclosure Act pass Congress? Will the Disclosure Act brought by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse pass Congress this week? Side to side is a no. Needs 60 votes out of that. Is it 101? Okay. May I ask a question, please, Master? May I ask a question? May I ask a question, please? Thank you. If this act is brought back to Congress after the midterms, will it pass? If this bill is brought back after the midterms, will it pass? If it's brought back after the midterms, and back and forth is a yes. Okay, there's a few. I think what's happening is these bills are being brought forward to show the American voter before the midterms how their representatives really feel about these subjects that are important to the voters. There was another one, I'm just trying to remember what it was. Oh, the marriage equality as well. To expose the representatives as to which way they feel about this. I mean, to be honest, if you are voting against a transparency, what do you have to hide? And it is giving fuel to the Democrats to, in their advertising campaigns, to say, well, what are they hiding? So I know there's not a lot of changes happening in the Congress itself. Most of the changes will be happening in the House, but it will expose anyhow. So I'm sorry about that. I am hopeful. That is just the energies of now. That is what the cards are telling me. Wasn't the outcome I was expecting, so I'm really disappointed and sorry that as far as the cards and pendulum are telling me that is not going to pass if it's brought forward before the midterms, but it will pass after the midterms once the voting reaction takes place. Okay, what I want to have a look at, I really want to have a look at Iran today. Just feeling a massive draw to that. So for those that aren't sure, if you have a look back on historical photographs, Iran was a very liberal and open country. There are photographs of the era of the women wearing very modern for the 1970s clothing, the miniskirt, the knee-high boots, uncovered hair, studying their books at university, in town squares, etc. So it was a very liberal community, country. I haven't studied history, but what's happened is that there was a rise to, I believe something happened with the US and the Iranian government at that stage that saw the implementation of the Ayatollah, who then brought in these archaic religious rules and basically led to the oppression of the women of the country. So what happened is that there was a young lady who went out in public, refused to wear the headdress. She was arrested by the police on moral charges and died in custody from beating. So just a bit, just really feeling it for Iran at the moment. A lot of countries are going through this dramatic change. Massive protests in Russia at the moment. Apparently the queues at the border for Russians to escape into neighbouring Finland is about 15 kilometres long. There's been about 4,000 that I have read have been arrested with protests in Russia at the moment against the war in Ukraine and, well, the invasion of Ukraine and the declaration of conscription. You have to, for those that are just interested in Russia, conscription is, or calling up of reservists is a completely different kettle of fish to Australia and the US and the UK, etc. The reservists in Australia, they train for 1 weekend a month, and I think it's 2 solid weeks a year. They train, they are skilled, they are highly trained, not as much as the permanent military, but they know what the heck they're doing. In Russia, the reservists over there are literally anyone who's had more than 2 weeks of training within the last 10 years. So a lot of them have been in civilian life for a significant period of time, and they may have had 2-3 weeks training, 7 years ago. Does not mean they're in any way suitable or qualified to be sent to the front line. Anyhow, off my soapbox, out of my squirrel moment. I just want to have a look at Iran. So Iran, Afghanistan, women are under the surface in Afghanistan, fighting back, educating their children, doing what they can in that situation. We have Hong Kong. We have countries all over the world. Just show me what's going on in Iran at the moment. How's it going in Iran at the moment, please? Iran in the moment. Women coming forth in Brazil. A lot of these countries, the governments of the day, the leaders of the day are really underestimating the female and youth vote. They did in Australia, to their peril. I believe they are in the US. The GOP are underestimating. So these dictatorships, fascist, male-dominated, conservative governments and leaders have really underestimated 50% of the population, 51% actually, the females, and also the youth. Those that are voting perhaps for the first time, or finding their voice for the first time. And here is the female vote. Powerful, powerful feminine energy, bringing forth truth, wisdom, intelligence, compassion, just bringing everything that is powerful about feminine energy. Okay, however, we need a balance of feminine and masculine. Just at the moment it's overly masculine, and many parts of the world. So tell me what's happening in Iran. Tell me what's happening. I'm just getting this tingling all over my scalp and then down my legs. Thank you, Master. Him and Master and Narin. Narin is a he is a spirit elder, a spirit healer. He was a highly respected elder and medicine person of our First Nations people, and he is now a spirit healer. So I have the strength of Meister, who was a Gaelic Celtic warrior, and so I see him as my masculine leaning guide, whereas Narin, who is my spiritual healer, he is my feminine energy guide. Perfectly balanced, both as powerful as each other. So please tell me the energies in Iran at the moment. Energies in Iran at the moment. Okay, doesn't want me to shuffle anymore. Just see what those cards are as to whether they belong on the top or the bottom. Okay, I'll just start with these and then I'll pop them back and have another quick shuffle. These are the three that refuse to go back in the pack for me. Iran is very much at a crossroads. They can choose this blinding light of the sun, full illumination. You've got here in the foreground a male and a female, both strong warriors, resting, having a meal together as partners before deciding what path to take. And I do love in this particular deck, this is my runic tarot deck, that the only path that is showing is the path that is illuminated towards the transparency, towards the brightness of this sun. It's not going to be easy. The Four of Pentacles. This is literally hanging on to the last vestiges of what is worthy as the rest goes up in flames. And then we have the World. Unity of diversity, culmination, are coming together. And the world is watching. But it is also the world is a whole. We often forget that we all live on this one planet. We are not separate entities. We all live on this one planet, and the planet is a whole. But this is about unity. So I'm actually quite pleased about those three cards that refuse to go back in. But I will shuffle again and just ask, because I want the energies of now, a symbol of the past, and what's happening going forward. So please, Master and Narin, Iran at this moment. I can't get that image out of the Four of Pentacles out of my mind, literally holding this chest of what really matters, what is really precious as everything else burns. Tell me about the energies of Iran. Energies of Iran. Thank you. Anyone that's doing tarot will know when the cards feel right. Sometimes they shuffle quickly and sometimes they take a bit longer. Oh, I like it. I do like it. Signifier. Major Arcana, the first card in the entire deck. The Fool, setting forth in trust and faith of a new beginning, of a new journey. I do like. Often this is a young person, but in this particular deck, this figure is not a youth. It is, probably not quite middle age. It is an older figure, that is striding out. So I am thinking that the change will come from the youth, but is also coming from those that are aware of what was before, that what Iran can be and can have. It was a country of incredible prosperity. Little sidetrack here. I have a girlfriend who's a bit older than me, and she, in her 20s, travelled from Britain to Australia on a bus tour. And the countries she went through, and Iran was one of them, but the countries she travelled through that are Iran, Afghanistan, India, now India's not oppressed, so I'll bypass that, but she travelled by bus with a tour group through all these countries where they were free and open. Egypt was one of them that she went to, free and open with no fear, no violence, and they were just liberal countries. There was just no oppression. So this was, I think, back in the 1970s that she did this. And the postcards and the letters she wrote home, she's still got them all. Just as a younger person, I'm not particularly young, but as a younger person who has known nothing but patriarchal dominance and oppression in these countries, I just find it exhilarating and mind-blowing that this was the countries before they entered this period. So this is what I'm getting, is that the actual new start is going to come from those who knew what was before. Challenged by, the Five of Wands. Oh dear, okay. And it is very much about the oppression of women. Literally burning women at the stake. Beaten to death in a jail with no justice because she refused to wear a headdress. This is about the oppression of the women. It is about the infighting, the internal conflict of that country at the moment. And I'm sorry, but it's not going to be pretty. There's not a lot I can say about that. Okay, well I can, but I don't want to go there at the moment. At the foundation, it is about the four of Swords, which is about the defeat, the loss in the wounded in battle, having to death in battle. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, right, what I'm getting really getting downloaded with here at the moment is, if you have a look at this particular card, it is 4 men standing there watching the Viking ship burn, which was the ceremony that was undertaken when there was a death, especially the death of an extremely important person. And what we are witnessing here is the men watching on as their authority is burning. It is the retreat and death of their authority. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's see where this goes for me. In the past, 6 of Pentacles. Again, so in a lot of these Pentacle cards, you will see women. But in this particular card, there is no women. This is about the giving and receiving help. But if you think back to the Rider-Waite Tarot, it is a figure giving help to one and not to others. So this again is about the patriarchal, helping the patriarchal. And it is in the past. It is about the patriarchal dominating. So we have this figure in the front not receiving help, and these in the back. They are. And I think what it is also, thank you. Oh boy, I'm getting some downloads this morning. Those men that have stood up for the rights of women are finding themselves, have in the past found themselves beaten down in the face of this overwhelming masculinity. Okay, thank you. Okay, crowning the reading, Queen of Pentacles. OMG. Feminine energy at its strongest. This is about bringing forward birth, abundance, protection, prosperity for women, protection for women. Wow. Especially in comparison to this card, but the fact that this is crowning this reading, love it. Okay, immediate future. Again, we have the Six of Swords. Packing up honesty and truth and wisdom and moving into a new light. This is the immediate future. Okay, I am liking this. I will ask a timeline shortly, but at the moment I haven't got a timeline. I did read, if those remember, on Afghanistan, and I saw about 10 years there of working behind the scenes, and Egypt was similar. I think it was a shorter time period, perhaps 5 years, but I'll look at a timeline shortly if I can. Spirit world does have difficulty with time because time there does not exist in the same way that time exists here, but we'll have a look. But yeah, this is about just packing up into all that is good into the boat and moving towards this new horizon, this new sunrise. Externally, it is about the power of the feminine, but this is also a female that is trapped in her cage. So even those women that are wealthy are trapped in their cage, but they have all these arms to these the swords, the spears, the shields. They have them all at their arm's reach. So don't underestimate these women behind the scenes. They're biding in some ways they're biding their time externally. Internally, the lovers. So this is, again, if you have a look at this card, the lovers can be about a difficult decision, but also an unequal partnership. Now what I'm seeing here is the masculine is sitting cross-legged. He's meditating. He's sitting cross-legged, but over him is the feminine spirituality. So internally it is about the rise of the women. Not asking for more, just asking for equal. But they are coming from a spiritual place, and they do exert this power over the masculine that the men may not be aware of at this stage. Just looking at this card, I'm pulled to the rainbow in the background, which is about unity. So it is about the rising up of the feminine energies. As the men, okay, thank you. He's telling me that in this particular card, the male has come complacent in their position, and there is this rise of the feminine energy which is taking them by surprise. So that's happening internally in Iran. Okay, hopes and fears. Again, this is the masculine energy ignoring the emotions of the day. Indolence, no, that's not the right word. Just thinking it's all sorted. That they are powerful in their position and they need to take no notice, is what I'm getting. They are ignoring these energies of the day. They're asleep while it's happening. Okay, hopes and fears. Oh my goodness, this is what I got in exactly the same spot when I was talking about the Disclosure Act. The Three of Swords. Disappointment, loss, heartbreak. I'm just looking at the energies of Iran, not from a particular point of view, the energies of Iran. So let's see where this goes. They are at a crossroads, and it is a crossroads. And it is what you've got here at this crossroads. It is, again, a feminine energy is at the crossroads, drawn, as always, to the two corpses in the background. Okay, thank you, thank you. The truth of the loss of this woman and other women in similar situations has led the country to this crossroads. There is a real decision to be made here as to which way to go forward. King of Pentacles, this powerful masculine energy. However, so they're at a crossroads in regards to this powerful masculine energy, this dominance, this patriarchal. However, we have this feminine figure who is moving forward rapidly. They are bringing this message forward. They are not going to be tamed any longer. They're not going to be kowtowed any longer. And if anyone knows what it's like to tame and kowtow cats, you're with me on this one. But I am seeing this rise of this powerful feminine moving this country forward. Knight of Wands. It's not going to be an easy message to bring forward. There's going to be this... They're literally going to have to burn down what's happening already. This restriction. However, we have the Ten of Cups, which is about the family, about the community, about the coming together, about the celebration. And it is a culmination. And we have the High Priestess, the feminine spirituality on the base. Temperance, a return to balance and moderation is what is being sought. The Page of Cups bringing forward a message that is completely unexpected, out of the blue. Again, it's a feminine energy. Going back to what was simpler times, when male and female were equal. They could bring up their children in peace and harmony and love. The Truth being brought forward, the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower. I also then have the Eight of Cups, which is about walking away from what is no longer serving, but walking towards what is. But times are, the truth is coming out, illuminated. It's coming out of these dark clouds. It is being illuminated. It is a new beginning of truth and honesty and justice. This Wheel of Fortune is turning. The power is turning. It is going to be a tower moment where what is will be torn down to be replaced by something better. We have this Eight of Cups of walking away from what is no longer serving. The feminine energy, the Queen of Swords, holding this sword of change. And then we have Death. Authentic reform. It's coming. It is coming. I'll see if I can get a timeline on that. But this is a moment of breaking down of old structures, rebuilding of new, authentic reform coming to Iran. I'm just going to use my intuition cards. I might still do that. It's going to be a long reading, but I'll put the timestamps up. So let's have a look. Okay. May I ask a question, please? Ask a question. Ask a question. Thank you. Is this reform in Iran, the rise of the feminine, within 5 years? Is this reform, rise of the feminine in Iran, within 5 years? Within 5 years? Thank you. Yes, within 5 years. May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question? Thank you. Will this rise of the feminine in Iran occur within 3 years? 3 years. Again, a yes. May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question? Will this rise of the feminine energy in Iran occur within 2 years? Will it occur within 2 years? May I ask a question? Will this rise of the feminine occur within 2 years? Around about. Is it going to be a difficult journey for Iran? The people of Iran, is it going to be a difficult journey for the people of Iran? Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Will it involve the removal of the religious leader? Will this change involve, entertainment purposes only, the removal of the religious leader? I'm getting a no. Okay. Just want to ask one more question. Meister's telling me to ask. May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question, please? Will a new religious leader emerge who is female? Will a new religious leader emerge who is either female or feminine energy? Will a new religious leader emerge who is female with feminine energy? That's a very small yes, and I don't know if you can see it on the screen, very possibly not. Pendulum was vibrating like crazy. A feminine energy religious leader. Okay, we shall watch that with interest. Feel if that's all you want at this stage. Loved having you along for the journey, loved you all, but I am just going to nip through with my intuition cards very quickly, which means this is going to be an extremely long reading. I do apologise about that. They are all extremely long, which is why I've had to timestamp them, so please, patience is super appreciated, and it does give you the opportunity with the timestamp so you can zip forward to what interests you. But I just want to have a look. I was told to bring these to the table today, the intuition cards. Intuition cards. These are cards that Meister and I have made together with little drawings on them just to tell a story. They tell a story about a process going forward. I don't read upside down, so that's why there's so many cards. And there are... Yes, there are, I don't know how many there are. It's a bloomin' thick deck. There's probably about 100 of them. Tell me Iran, tell me Iran. Tell me the story of Iran going forward in light of what is happening in the energies of today. Tell me the story of Iran going forward. Tell me the story of Iran going forward. Okay. Drop these two out at me. Via communication. Literally, the story of Iran going forward will come via communication. Future, in the future, dividing, busy work, rebuilding. On the world stage. Not sure what this card's doing here, but via communication, the future will divide into, okay, thank you, will divide into, this is physical rebuilding and this is busyness. So to me this is saying the structure, the behind the busy building, the other, because it's not just about rebuilding physically, infrastructure, etc. It's about working hard, working busily, rebuilding. But this is also about so this is physical infrastructure. This is about busy with social infrastructure, technology, rebuilding, research, education. Yeah. And it's going to encompass the world, or the world will be helping. The world will assist. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. Prosperity, wealth will be intertwined. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Ooh, this is interesting. Interesting. Okay. This obscene wealth that is intertwined with the country will be stopped. At the moment, this is the fullness of the country. This is all the country is this I don't know what it's like in Iran, to be honest, but is there this is it like Russia where there's this oligarch class? Is it like the US where there's these obscenely rich and these incredibly homeless poor? But this wealth that is intertwined will be stopped. At the moment, it is all that the country is. This devil energy will die, be restricted, and flipped. The country is at a crossroads. It is a crossroads of conflict. But have faith. Leap forward in faith and make your anger work hard for you. This loyalty to the rule is going to be turned from sadness to happiness. Okay? I do like this flip and crossroads. But yeah, it is going to be a conflict, but have the leap of faith and be angry and make your angry work hard for. Don't just lash out, but make the anger work hard for you in regards to the loyalty to the rule, and this unhappiness become happiness. We have this is my devil card, really. This is the toxicity and the obscenity and the indolence and the abundance. There will be freedom from this. There will be peace. As there is this lightning rod moment. Oh, I do like that. There is this lightning rod moment for the jet set that they are going to find fearful. We have abundance, health, unity coming forward, plus all that is good is the key. In time, there are these light bulb moments. This card has yet to be written on. So the future is not clear as of yet. The future is not clear on what will happen with this swamp, but there will be celebration and growth and justice and balance. And everything will be it will be awesome. No to the dollar. Trust the strength. Okay. Again, not an easy journey. It's about coming together and breaking down the old that will resist because they don't want to give it up. But it is a crossroads moment, and the future with that blank card, how it will come about with that swamp has yet to be written. But the cards all surrounding it are all surrounding everything that was negative in that reading, and it wasn't a lot of negative, were extremely positive, and it was about coming together, unity, and breaking down what is not good and rebuilding, but rebuilding in a positive manner. Okay, thank you for joining me today. That was a little bit of an exploration and a delve. I love looking into these countries. I love seeing that there is change coming. 2 to 3 years for Iran. Please send the country light and love. There are so many countries in the world that we need to encompass with this positivity. Probably just as easy to draw on your energies, stand on the pinnacle and let it flow over around the entire planet. So thank you for joining me today. Love to you all. Take care, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.